Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the Red Earth Production Studios for this edition of YBMcast, powered by Game 7 Baseball, game7baseball.com. Don't forget, this is a special today. We're coming at you early, but coming up, don't miss the Game 7 wrap-up show. Had a great time out at the Midland Invitational. Even saw Matt Shadow. Haven't seen him in quite some time. Running around busy like that. So, hey, it was good to see Matt. Fun time out at the Midland Invitational. Give it a watch tomorrow. We got the top award, the POG interviews. We got all kinds of stuff coming up. We got our helmet stickers coming at you for the weekend as well. So make sure you tune in for the Game 7 Baseball wrap-up show, the Midland Invitational. But today, we're getting into it. It's here. Kevin Moulder, the guru himself, on to drop his knowledge about the district playoffs. How did it go so fast?
Wow, it has flown, but it's go time now. It is going to roll from here, isn't it?
Oh, man.
But hey, one of the most exciting times or weeks of the year. Love districts and a lot of high stakes baseball, and it is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to taking a look at all of this with you.
Absolutely. Don't forget, too, folks, we've got some good stuff coming up. Kevin will be down at the state championships. We'll have him joining us. We're going to be doing some podcasts from down there. We're going to be doing our interviews. We're taking the mobile studio down. Looking forward to bringing you some coverage of the Misha State playoffs down there, too. So make sure, mark it on your calendar. We're going to have a lot of fun. Kevin, you got some stuff coming up in June. What do you got for us, buddy?
Yeah, we're excited. We got a new event this year. The Missouri State Games is going to be June 4th at University of Missouri. So we're going to be at Mizzou for our state games. It's going to be a high level of event. We've got a great roster put together already, and we're going to have a good turnout of college coaches. And we're going to be using the Mizzou indoor, which is like a full field, not just batting cage. So that and their stadium for the workout and the gameplay. So we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a lot of our other states have done that. It's a big success in Illinois, and we're looking to starting it up here in Missouri, and gotten a great response so far.
That's awesome. What are the dates on that, Kevin?
It is June 4th.
Oh, wow. That's around.
There will be a number of games, and will be divided mostly by class. With juniors and seniors, going to be juniors and seniors playing together. Some select sophomores possibly, but it'll be multiple games throughout the day.
Gotcha. Folks, Kevin Moulder here joining us on our Prime Sports Midwest call-in link. Make sure you check out primesportsmw.com for all your stuff. They got great baseball stuff. You like that? I mean, what else are you going to say? It's all stuff, right? If you need, a new bat, a new glove, you can go to the store and actually try it on. That's a bonus. I love that stuff. You can swing it. They got the demos. Great stuff. They got a new location coming. If you live in St. Charles, St. Peter's, they got one coming on up real soon here on Mexico Road in St. Peter's. So a new Prime Sports Midwest. I love this stuff. Great partnership there. So make sure you check out primesportsmw.com. So, Kevin, let's get into the district playoffs here. Class 5, let's start there. We're going to jump right into it with District Numero Uno. 2023 state champs, the number 1 seed, the Festus Tigers, 22-7, looking to make it back-to-back. What do you think?
Yeah, Festus is really strong. I've seen them a couple times this year. I like this group. Now, Hillsboro is more than capable. They got a good group as well. But Festus is, they're right there for being the defending champions, they're one of the picks to make a run at this thing and for the state championship. So I like the Festus Tigers in this district here.
When we look down through here, as you brought up Hillsboro, 17-9, they're the 2 seed. But, along the way here, they've got I don't see them having too much trouble with Windsor. Could be, But my sleeper in this one is the 3 seed Farmington. I don't know that they'll do anything to beat, but Farmington's had a good year. They're 22-12. They've won 8 in a row to finish the season, including they won the MAAA conference tournament. They've had wins against Sullivan Valley Catholic. Festus is the juggernaut, but I like this Farmington squad. I've had them in my top 20 most of the season, and
yes, you have.
I think they got a shot to make a little noise here.
Well, it's going to be it'll be fun to unfold if the seeds hold. Obviously, they'll have a big second round matchup with Hillsboro, and the thing that I really like about Festus is, and this is where the coaches make the big dollars this time of year. Festus has a lot of pitching depth. In particular, Min Shermer, who's a junior and has already started in multiple Final Four games because they've been back-to-back years, and Jackson Smith, who last I checked had a 0 ERA on the year. So if they, and I don't even want to call it a dice roll, they could throw their third guy in the first game, and they're going to be sitting there with an ace in the championship game if they can advance that far. They'll obviously have a tough matchup in the semifinals, but you got DeSoto and Cape Central, the winner of that game there in a semifinal match. But I like this Festus team a lot this year. I think they're primed for another good run.
Absolutely. I'm picking Festus, but I think Hillsboro and Farmington have that puncher's chance. If somebody's having a bad day, right, Kevin?
Can always happen.
That's just the way it goes. Sometimes it is. It's just the way it happens. Hillsboro's had good wins over Hannibal and Pacific. And the thing of it is, I think it was a couple weeks ago, because Hillsboro and Festus are in the same conference. They played back-to-back games. Both games were 1-0 losses for Hillsboro. So that right there tells you this isn't, these are good. These are 2 good teams. And Hillsboro, though, they might have to fire one more bullet earlier to get to that championship game. And that could be the difference.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But you bring a good point. That's a natural rivalry. But they can hit. They got some good players. Easton Day is a big-time bat, having a good year. I really like the Partney twins. Max and Zach are young guys that have had a huge role in their season this year. Dominic Sutton is having a big year for Hillsboro. So these guys can swing the bat a little bit, which makes them dangerous. But Festus has that frontline pitching, so that you're always going to, at least in my opinion, give that the nod.
That's the check mark, right? There you go.
Yeah,
I agree, Kevin. And pitching and defense. That's what we talk about these things at the high school, at every level of baseball, no matter what. Let's move to the District 2 here. We've got, I'm going to say this. I know this might not be a popular thing to say, and people go, oh, you can't say. Yeah, you can. Webster Groves is going to have to just fall completely apart to not win this district. No offense to John Burroughs or Lutheran South, but honestly, Webster Groves, it's their district to win.
I would agree with that statement. It is their district to win, and that would be my pick. They are highly competitive. Coach Wiggins has done a great job with that program and has them playing really hard, and they have plenty of talent. I see no scenario where they don't advance to the championship game. Now, John Burroughs, was there last year, so I'm not willing to say that they have zero chance. John Burroughs is more than capable. Um, they have still have a good group, and they have guys with experience. They've done it before. Now, Bowen Brantingham isn't there anymore. He's pitching for Air Force, and he was the key or their star ace pitcher last year. But you're right. It was a great path, but you know, John Burroughs was able to beat Parkway South last week. He's one of the best teams in the state. So I am certain that they can hang. They are capable of beating Webster, even though Webster is my pick in this district. But still, plenty of good players on this Burroughs team. A lot of bats. Griffin Barnett's having a big year. They have Amir and Ahmad Muhammad both hitting over 300 for them. So there is more than enough there for these guys.
And, Webster Groves had a couple of dudes last year. Who are the guys that stand out? They've just got a really good team across the board. Am I correct in that, Kevin?
Yeah. Here's what makes Webster tough, and they're not relying on a superstar. They have some high end, some very good players, but they do it collectively. It's a group offense. They're going to put a lot of pressure on you. They run up and down the lineup for the most part. Um, they play pretty good defense, and they have pitching. I really like their catcher, senior Drew Patrick, who's also formed heading to Maryville as a pitcher. But he's a plus defender behind the plate, strong arm. Joe Callis kind of sets the tone for him. Typically hits at the top of the lineup. So they got enough, and pitching wise, they got enough to get it done. Jackson Torbett, two-way player for them, kind of their lead guy on the mound. I think he's heading to Central College to play football and baseball. But there's a guy with, setting the tone for him on the mound, is their number one pitcher, hitting over 300, has a bunch of extra base hits. And then even the guys at the bottom of the lineup, they're stealing bags. You got Torbett with 23 stolen bases, Cioto Ashamaya with 14, Joe Callis with 18, Asher Harp with 18. So they're putting pressure. Asher Rataj with 8, Isaiah Sims with 8. So it's just a group. It's not, hey, let's take this guy out of the equation. We're gonna, pitch around this guy or be careful with him. It's a group effort. So they got a nice identity. I like how they play.
Here in this next one in District 3, in my estimation, is one of the tougher districts in Class 5 from top to bottom, at least 5 deep. And we've kind of talked, you and I have kind of talked about this, but I've got in our rankings, number 8 Summit, 1911. They're the number 1 seed. But one of the things that stood out to me when I started looking at this district here, Kevin, is the top 3 seeds. Check this out. Summit is 5-5 in their last 10, and they've lost 4 out of 5 to end the season. The number 2 seed, Parkway West, they lost 3 out of their last 5. They're 4-6 in their last 10. That to me stood out. Westminster, number 3 seed, also lost 4 out of their last 5. So the top 3 seeds are not going into this tournament on high notes. That really kind of struck me.
Yes. Now, some of them have played very good competition, I would say.
Hmm.
Um, I was at a Westminster Parkway South game recently, but I 100% agree with your assessment of this district. This thing is loaded. If I'm being 100% honest, I think there's 5 teams in this district that could win this thing. Like
Yeah.
I could build a legitimate case where I could get you to nod your head. Yeah, I like their chances. Um, so this one is tough. Rockwood Summit has been there all year. They have an extremely good group. They have pitching. They have a couple good young players. They've played good competition. Um, I like this Westminster team. They got a lot of depth on the mound. They can do it. Ethan Martin has kind of been their star on the mound, two-way player. Um, he's 7-0 on the year. So again, this is where you got to make some decisions as a coach. Where are they going to play that card? But Devin Coulter has had a good year as well, and they have plenty of other pitching depth that can give them quality innings. Isaac Boss heading to Evansville, didn't even mention him yet. That more than capable. So they got a lot of pitching depth. Um, Offensively, they got a nice lineup. Joey Fuentes has done a good job. He has 4 homers for him. Cal Layton's having a good year for him, double-digit doubles. We already mentioned Ethan Martin. They got really steady play at shortstop. Drew Messi, the sophomore heading to Louisville, who's their table setter, does a great job. Kamen Schlegel hitting 320 with a bunch of doubles. So I like this Westminster team. I'm kind of going back and forth on who my pick there is, but I might take Westminster with a little bit of a dark horse being a 3 seed. But I'll tell you the other thing that's crazy about this bracket is you look at Rockwood Summit. They will have no problems with Parkway North. To be
Yeah.
blunt,
Yeah.
but Parkway Central and Pacific are both really good teams. Like
Yeah.
they could be a 1 seed in different districts. To be honest, Pacific has a big time left-hander in Jake Collier. Um, that you don't want to see him. Parkway Central, um, some young Sam song heading to Maine. Um, Very good. That's going to be interesting. Now they'll probably throw in game one because Central and Pacific are both very good. Um, yeah, I don't know which direction are you leaning here.
I think it's a pick 'em. To me, when you get into this, Kevin, I'm gonna listen to what you're saying here. I know you said Summit's got their number one. We saw Wyatt Schneider pitch against Central, and he was very good. So, and I know who they've got a number one besides him that you've talked about. Who's got the best pitching depth? And I think that's what this come down to. Pacific may have to throw Collier against Central just to get there. And so what do you
Right.
do? And, I think that is where how much depth does Pacific have to get to that championship game? And when you do, that's why I think Summit and Christian are going to end up there. And I think that's going to be who's got the best pitching left is going to come out of this district.
Now I will say this: we haven't touched on Parkway West,
Right?
who has also got a very nice team, um, and they're led by Mason Beno, senior heading to South Alabama. Um, he's been more in the bullpen role, but that also kind of is a nice weapon to have, um, especially in district play because you can use them multiple games. So if Parkway West has a lead on you, they're in very good shape. Zach Taylor's done a good job for them on the mound, sporting about a 2.6 ERA. So Parkway West is going to have more than a chance. It's going to be highly competitive. Them and Westminster to see who can advance to play Summit. But I don't feel like this is a situation where Summit is necessarily gifted anything.
No.
Because I see their semifinal game as a tough one, no matter who they're playing between Pacific and Parkway Central.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, Parkway West, tough down the stretch. Had some losses. Of course, they played Edwardsville, which, you know, that's a tough.
Yeah, they're the back-to-back Illinois state champions. So,
but they split with Summit, lost to Central. They beat Marquette in a close one. Lost to Francis Howell North. And I think the Lindbergh game was kind of a rain out or something like that. They beat Kirkwood. So, coming into this, I think it's a lot of these teams are teetering at the end here. So honestly, I think I like what you said about Westminster. I hadn't heard that much about their depth, but I've seen Summit. I like Summit. I think regardless, I think Collier, Central and Pacific are going to have to spend a really good pitcher to get to that semifinal game, and it could be Collier. And that's a tough decision for the coach.
Yes, and Summit's going to be sitting there most likely with Logan Darnell in the second game, who has a .67 ERA this year and has been a senior that's been great all season. So that's going to give him a big edge. But like I said, Parkway Central, Pacific, both more than capable, and that's going to be a very tough semifinal matchup.
Folks, if you want to watch some good baseball, this is a district to go watch. I think it's going to be just a tough one right there. Whew. That's the first one right there that's really kind of got, I think you got to pick them there. Let's move to District 4, Kevin, and the juggernaut known as Fort Zumwalt South.
Wow. I really like the depth in District 3. But wow, this is a very strong district as well. Now, boy, Zumwalt South is clearly and deservingly the 1 seed and one of the top teams in the state, regardless of class. So they're going to be an absolute handful. We saw them at state last year. They've had those seniors there up on varsity for multiple years, so a ton of experience. We'll circle back to those guys.
Let me say this real quick, just before you get into the rest of these guys. And no offense to a Dominic or the other people in here that we're getting ready to talk about, but they're 25-4. They're on an 11-game win streak to end the season, and they're not playing chump change. They just beat Howell to end the season 13-2. Now, I don't know who Howell threw, but I don't care, man. That's a pretty good win, no matter who, because Howell doesn't have bad pitching.
No, they're going to run someone good out there.
So
more talented, for sure.
Let's see if there's somebody in this district that can challenge these guys.
So St. Dominic has some frontline pitching. I'm a big fan of Charlie Kilcullen, the left-hander. He's having a great year. He's 5-1 with a 1.7 ERA. You got Evan Luke for them, who's sub 3 ERA, heading to Central Missouri. Alex Oslop, the lefty, has had a really nice year for him. they have a lot of nice pieces. Andrew Henke, been kind of a Swiss Army knife for him, starter and reliever, sporting a 1 flat ERA. So I'm just looking at it. Cooper Smith, 21 innings, 0.33 ERA. So they got pitching depth. Brennan Swindler, 30 innings, 1.8 ERA. They're going to be fine. Like they will be able to sustain a 3-game run over a 4-day period. They will have the pitching. So that makes them dangerous, in my opinion. Charlie Kilcullen also kind of leads them offensively, has 4 bombs, hitting 400. So that's a dangerous group right there for sure. It will be interesting to see East. They have postseason experience as well. We've seen them make the final, make a run into Springfield. Jackson Carter, game changer offensively. Eric Williams having a monster year for them. Has kind of had a bounce back year for East. Carter Hollingsworth on the mound. This is going to be a highly competitive district all the way around, in my opinion.
And East is one, looks like, what, 6 out of their last 8 wins against Holt, Howell North, Lindbergh, St. Charles. Their question mark, I think, they've got 2 pitchers in Hollingsworth and, oh gosh, the age is killing me, man. Brendan Pyle. But what is it after that? And I think that's going to be the key for this East team if they want to make a run at Zumwalt South in this district. I think they've got the offense. They definitely have the offense, Kevin.
Yeah, and we're talking about offense. I mean, Pyle's, boy, I mean, he's having a big year too, having a ton of extra base hits, doubles, triples, homers. So they're offensively, they can really hurt you with Pyle, Williams, Carter, who's dynamic on the bases. So they got the pieces. So this is a strong district.
Not to
and
mention,
then I'll throw in North Point.
Well,
they got a scary arm. Jack Cowling, I'm sure, would start game 1 against East. So that's going to be no. That's going to be no cakewalk, and same with Holt.
Yeah.
If they truthfully have a little bit of a disappointing season, I think that would be fair to say. That wouldn't be someone before the season that I would have picked to be a 7 seed in this district.
No.
Before the season, they have pieces. There's a lot of players at Holt. Kyle Edgar is a really good player, and he's having a pretty solid year, hitting about 380.
You got Lassiter.
Chase Lassiter, behind the plate and can really hit. Dalton Hosack on the mound, lefty heading to SAU Edwardsville. So they've had a disappointing year, but if you're their coaches, you're sitting there saying, okay, our spring season, our regular season didn't go great. Now we got a new opportunity, and the seeding doesn't really matter a ton. You throw that all out the window, and you're just playing you're looking to get hot for a week, win 3 baseball games. They can, So North Point and Holt are different in my opinion. Holt has enough depth there to make a little run. North Point has the scary arm, and keep in mind, North Point's still 1 year away from having a full senior class. So I expect them to continue to get better and better, but they are more than capable as well.
That is a scary first round. I agree. So neither one. I don't think Dominic or East can rest. They're going to have to fire a bullet, and that's where the difficulties in districts like this come into play. Whereas I think Zumwalt South at the top of this, you got Warrenton and Hannibal and they're good teams. They're good teams, but I don't think they're at the caliber of Zumwalt South. I just don't. So
I would agree. I mean, Zumwalt South is the no pick in this bracket, but it's not a cakewalk.
right,
That's for sure. Because if you're looking at it, who would be the state champion out of this 5A? South is going to be in that conversation. Insane pitching depth with Carter Cox, Full Horst, Henke, and Tankersley. That's that's a lot of depth right there on the mound.
and with South, you watch them play. They can slug and they can play small ball. They will
Yes,
just beat you.
and we've talked about this before. They play with an edge. They play hard. They're gonna show up. You know that about them.
Yes, and to their credit, I think they've been much better. They've had a couple of incidents, and I've said that here on the show, and it's not anything personal. I think Coach Friedel does a great job coaching there. They do play with an edge, and I think it's got the best of them a couple times. And I hope that these kids learn from that, take that into consideration. Win with class, lose with class. You got to.
Uh,
That's
I enjoy watching them play, and when I say they
absolutely.
play with an edge, I mean that in 100% a compliment. And they play hard, and you got to respect that. So they got
Absolutely.
the talent to do it and a group to do it. So that would be my pick in this district.
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody beats them, wow, good. Yeah, good luck. So, moving on. Here is the surprise of all surprises. I think this is the biggest surprise in Class 5 right here. Not that they're not a good team, but the Union Wildcats, the number one seed, Kevin.
Yeah. Again, yeah, that would be that wouldn't have been what I guessed before the season, but credit to them. They've had a great season. Um, this is going to be an interesting bracket. Looking at these teams with Union, Washington, Jeff City, Rolla, Elias, Camdenton, Borgia, and Capital City. I'm going to start with Camdenton. They were decimated by injury. Losing
Yeah.
Kate Durnan. Um, they would have been a major factor in this district had things been a little different health wise for them. So,
Could have been
um,
one of the deepest districts in the state.
100%, 100%. You got Borgia sitting there. Um, Jack Noby, who might be the player of the year in the state. Um, Caden Carroll, they have that experience of being there. So I really like this Borgia team. Um, what?
Let me go back to this real quick because I want folks to understand. Union doesn't get a lot of pub. They're 20-9, but one of the top two teams in the state in Class 5 is not going to even get out of district here. As you're talking about Borgia, because they're going to have to meet up with Elias Catholic more than likely, Kevin.
Yes, and that's an extremely strong group. Um, yeah, this will be interesting. This is one again where, um, yeah, and Union's going to should be able to have some pitching there for a championship matchup. This is where Borges is going to the coaching staff's going to earn their money laying this out there. One thing to keep an eye on with these district matchups is the days. Not all these districts play the same setup. So some go Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Some go Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. Some go Wednesday, Friday, Monday. So it has a great impact on how you can lay out your pitchings. I'm looking at this one, and this is a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and of course that we don't know what's going to happen with weather, and hopefully we get great weather, but rainouts can change this as well. Um, And Jeff City has one of the best, probably the top prospect in the entire state, regardless of class, on their team in Jordan Martin. Um, so I don't know when they'll throw him. They might choose to throw him in game one because that versus a Rolla team, or if they skate by without using him, then Union's facing a scary matchup in a semifinal game. So this is going to be a fascinating district. Quite honestly, if I'm going to make a call here, Brian, I think I'm going to ride Borgia in this one and go with another 3 seed. I feel like I've been riding the 3 seed a lot this year. Um, this
I
isn't my
would,
first 3 seed pick that we've talked about, but I'm gonna go with Borgia in this. But Elias Catholic is going to be
yeah,
very dangerous.
that's the team I'm picking because I think Borgia, Capital City, is not an easy out, and I think you might, will they have to throw Noby there? No, probably not. But Capital City is not an easy out. They've played good baseball all season. Um, they're 21-11. And when you've got 21 wins, you've done pretty well for yourself. Have they maybe played as tough a schedule? No, but they've played a lot of good teams. Capital City's been right there. They got a pretty good record. I don't know much about them, and that's the other thing, folks. I can sit here and look at records and things like that. I don't know the roster. It's a little more difficult to find rosters and stuff if around the area. So I don't know what you know about Capital City, Kevin, but I don't think that's an easy out for Borgia.
Uh, it absolutely won't be an easy out. Yeah, anyone that wins 21 games is going to be a formidable opponent, and they have one of the best freshmen in the state in Chase Stieferman, left-handed pitcher committed to Mizzou. He was one of the guys that committed right before that rule change last spring. Um, that's a scary matchup. You're 100% right. Chase Stieferman, two-way player, left-handed pitcher, center fielder, can swing the bat as well. Um, but Borgia has a lot. They got the
Mm-hmm.
pedigree there. Whether it's Noby or if they go with Caden Carroll, um, they're in capable hands either way.
No offense to Union, but I think I like Elias Catholic here. I think they've been playing the best ball down the stretch. They started off a little slow, but they have found themselves and are playing some really good baseball. Um, and So it'll be interesting to see. I could see Borgia coming there and coming out of that again as well. Just I know what, and that's folks understand this. Kevin always it's about pitching, and when you got that dude right, and then they have Caden Carroll behind him, it just kind of sits in your face, doesn't it, Kevin?
Yes.
There you go. Moving on here to number 6, district number 6. The other juggernaut in the room with the Willard Tigers. No surprise here, 28-5. Probably one of the most difficult schedules. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Their only losses were to Rockbridge and Webb City in that last 10 games. I think they are the favorite, and they're going to win this district. I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think in the sense of just rolling over people. Marshfield and Springfield Catholic are good. You got Branson and West Plains down there in the bottom of the bracket. Um, I know it's a down year and Springfield Catholic is up, but they've got talent. Anything's possible, but Willard is the clear favorite here.
Yes, they are the clear favorite, but I really like the 3 seed in this one as well. Now, Willard is my pick in the district, without question. West Plains has had a great year. We had the Zizzers crack our top 15 at one point in our state poll. They're led by Tank Sims, left-handed hitting catcher, heading to SEMO. uh, having a very good year. And West Point has had a heck of a year. Branson has also had an extremely strong season. So this isn't going to be a cakewalk, but what I do like for Willard, that Branson West Plains game, assuming that happens in a semifinal matchup,
Yeah.
that that's going to be a knockdown, drag out type game, and I think Willard, is going to have the upper edge by the time we get to the championship. If they're able to get past the Marshfield Springfield winner, I like Willard just with overwhelming whoever in the championship game with just their overall depth, because Willard's another team that doesn't necessarily rely on a star. They have a up and down lineup, multiple pitchers, great team defense, extremely well coached. It's partly a system offense with good hitters in there. So I like that Willard group this year.
One of the tough things here, Marshfield, they're the 4 seed. They're 23-12, but I don't think they've got much for Willard. They played early in the season. Willard beat them 9-1. I think they played again. I'm looking here. No, they hadn't played since then. Marshfield's had a good season, but I don't know. I mean, even with the record, I don't know how much they have for Willard in that respect. And so I do think I agree with you. I think it's going to be more of is Branson, because Branson just played Willard the other day. I think last week before, it was a 2-0 ball game. Willard beat them. So, but if you don't have maybe that bullet, as you said, if they got to try and beat West Plains, I think that's a difficult thing. So, I think we may be moving. I think the way those line up, you could see that Willard Fort Sumwalt South championship game, state title. Oof.
Getting ahead of ourselves, but yes.
I know. I couldn't help myself, Kevin.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the thing. Here's the next two here are we're in District 7. Now I said this earlier, I think it was back in District 2 with Webster Groves, but honestly, this is the one, Webb City, District 7, the number 1 seed. The number 2 seed is Carl Junction. Had a nice year, but they're 16-16. There's not a team in this district besides Carl Junction that is above 500. No offense to these schools. I'm not saying it bad. It's just the way it is. That's just the baseball. Webb City will have to break all their legs not to get out of this district. Come on. I know that's tough to say, but let's just be honest. You could see a Webb City sitting there ready to really play in the quarters and have themselves fresh and ready to go, Kevin.
Yes, this one is one of those districts where it does start on Wednesday and finish next Monday. So someone will be able to throw their ace twice in this, which not saying that's not an advantage for Webb City, but it could also be an advantage for an upset if you got, a team that doesn't have a great starting pitching, but they got that one guy.
Right.
Now, the problem is I don't think I am unaware of that guy, so he'll have to make his presence known over this next week or so. So, yeah, I really like the Webb City team. We have them 15th in our state polls. I saw them play down at Ozark this year. Again, it's a team approach group. They got some nice players. But, yeah, I see Webb City advancing out of this district.
So let's move right to District 8. And we're going to look at here, I think is another I think this is going to be a tough one. There's some teams in here, and I'm going to jump this right off the get. I've had Kearney up in our top four all season. I've really liked the way they've played. I think they're a really good team, but I'm picking Platte County to win this district. So there you go. I think it's going to be a tough one. I think that'll be a good district. Can Kearney beat Platte County? Sure. But man, and I'll talk about, but Kearney's the number one seed, 25-7. They've played numerous Class 6 teams. They've had some really good wins as well. But their only roadblock here is the 4 seed Winnetonka. They're 18-7. But I think Kearney's going to get to that championship game, Kevin.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. Those are both really strong teams, and both teams, in my opinion, are capable of making runs to the state tournament Final Four. Kearney has shown extremely well this year. Led by Chase Porter, the junior heading to Louisville plus runner, center fielder. They got a really talented group. I also really like this Platte County team, though. So I think I'm going to follow suit with you and go Platte County, believe it or not, and jump on board with you on that one. They kind of have a couple very good sophomores. You got Rocco Marriott, outfield pitcher for him. You got Brennan McLaughlin, shortstop pitcher. There's a lot of talent there. This is a coin toss district, in my opinion, but I'm going to join you in that selection.
If you want to, folks, if you get a chance, go to our player spotlights, our playlist, the player spotlight playlist. When we were over in with Andy Urban at the Prep Baseball MoCan Showcase, we got a chance to talk with Rocco Marriott and Brendan McLaughlin. Good conversations early in the season before the season started. Go check those out. It was really, really good conversation. Get a chance to meet those guys and see them. Because Platte County, Kevin, they started 3-8. They start the season 3-8. And they're 18-11. That means they went 15-3 to end the season.
That's a run.
And not only that, they've beat Grain Valley, Blue Springs South, and Ray-Pac in the last couple weeks of this season.
They've played very good competition. Yes.
That's no joke right there. No joke right there. The only maybe opportunity to bump Platte County is Smithville. They're 16-15, they're a solid program. Been around. They compete very well. But that's what I think. I think this is pretty straightforward here. I think you're going to see Kearney and Platte County in that, and I think Platte County just has they're playing well at the right time, as we like to say.
So, who do you got in 5A, Brian? What's your pick?
Final Four. I mean, I'm trying to think of it. I'm telling you, I
wasn't looking for a Final Four call. I was just looking for who you got winning
in the districts.
No, who's your state champion?
Oh yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. Man, I've seen Willard. It's tough to pick there, but I like Fort Zumwalt South, Kevin. I think they're the most complete team.
Yeah. I think that was the direction I was leaning as well. Willard is going to give them a run for their money. Yeah. Festus is also right there. But I think I'll go with South as well this year.
you know, it's tough. As we said, I think Platte County's coming out of 8, Webb City in 7, Willard's out of 6. I like Elias Catholic there in the 5th district. South, of course, in 4. It's a pick 'em, but I think after listening to you talk about Westminster, I think Westminster may come out of that 3rd district. I like that. Webster Groves and then Festus. So I think Class 5 in the quarters and into the state tournament's going to be a fun ride, Kevin.
Agreed. A lot of talent. A lot of talent.
Folks, that's our Class 5 preview of the district playoffs. We'll be back here. Make sure you tune in here. We'll have the District 6 coming at you. Okay, so make sure you stay tuned in. But for Mr. Kevin Moulder, always dropping the knowledge. Folks, thanks for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button. Kevin, right? In the comment box below, we'd love to see this. Who's your picks? Where are your picks at? Are we crazy? Or are we not crazy? Tell us who you'd like to see. And if you're voting with your heart, that's okay too.
Always.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Because, if I was voting with my heart, I'd pick Fort Zumwalt East out of the 4th district. But, they're good, but I don't know, man. So there you go. Folks, again, stay tuned. We got a lot of great stuff coming up this week. Everybody have a great day in the Lord. All you pitchers, Kevin, give it to them.
Keep throwing strikes, especially in the postseason.
Hitters, hit them where they're 8. We'll see you next time.